Hey there, looks like we're live and StreamYard seems to be working okay. I'm gonna check real quick on my phone, see if shows up on my YouTube channel. I'm assuming that it does, but better safe than sorry. Yep, we do appear to be live. Okay. And bringing up comments, there we go. And I got my monitors in. Not that I'm expecting anybody to join me tonight. Alrighty. So, let's see, does it tell me how many people I have on here? I can't really tell that for sure. Alrighty. So we'll do with the braiding, and when it's time to show the move, I'll just do this. Hopefully that's clear enough to see it. And then we'll move back. That's much faster than it was before. Alrighty, so we are on move 70. Just double check. Yep, that looks right. And okay, yep, mouse works okay. Alrighty. Anybody have any questions? Actually, let me go ahead and I'm going to open one more window and bring up Studio on that, just so I have a better idea of what's going on. Alrighty. And go live, go to manage. Alrighty. It says we have one person on, we have 2 likes. Hey, well, looks like we're good to go. Let me switch back to StreamYard just so I can control that a little better. Alrighty. Okay, so actually, that's probably, yeah, you can see everything there. Good. It looks like it's the best view. Or would you prefer if I do that? It doesn't make any difference on size with that, so this is probably best then. Okay, so on the right side, we've got 1, 3, and 7. Let's see, does that show there? There we go. We have 1, 3, and 7 on the right. Shed 1 is reversed, and 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. Okay. So on the right, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm doing most of my streaming on a laptop, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to make a desktop system with at least 2 or 3 monitors just to do this right. So shed 1 is reversed. So starting from the top and then from the bottom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. Hey, T-Rocks, welcome on. Thank you very much. I'm a Runkle fan too, which is why I'm doing this braid for him. And fortunately, he seems to be appreciative of that too, which makes me very happy. Thanks for coming on and watching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, and I will do my best to answer them in a way that's understandable. Let me just try this experiment real quick here. Yep, there we go. That does indeed work. Yeah, this is my first time actually broadcasting with StreamYard. All right, so I did... okay, so moving on to move 71. Okay, so we're going to do 1 and 3 on the right, and shed 1 is reversed, and 1 and 3 and shed 1 reversed on the left. So when I say 1 and 3, it means that as I'm counting up from me to the front of the braiding frame, Tamas are 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to be swapping 1 and 3 positions, top and bottom. And shed 1 being reversed means that instead of going just through all the bottom ones, the first one I go through the top position instead of the bottom. And then when I do it the second time, I go through the bottom instead of the top for the second half of that. So I hope that makes sense. All right, switching back to here. And I can tell already I'm going to have to upgrade my account to be able to do a higher resolution. Okay, so 1 and 3 and 1. So as I said, I'll be exchanging Tamas 1. Just a second here. I just realized something. I didn't do the second half of this move. Yeah. That's what I get for being over eager. Okay, so on the left, I do 1 and 3 and 1. All right, there's 1 and 3. It helps that I'm familiar enough with this braid that if I'm doing something wrong, I can usually notice that that doesn't look right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. And 1 from the bottom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 from the top. And top passes through the shed and over the top on the right. Okay, yeah, I'm happy to do it. I don't want to get too far in the weeds because I am trying to get this done in the next couple of weeks if I can. All right, so I finished that move. I'm starting the second one like I had on the screen. So 1 and 3. And shed 1 is reversed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm actually hoping to get Ian on a stream together with me so that we can talk about weird firearms laws in Pennsylvania and creative process, things like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I've been watching Ian since he was originally on Viva Barnes about 1.5 years or 2 years back, I think. And 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. And then we do something a little different here that happens every so often. Because I don't know if you've noticed yet, but as I keep moving back, eventually I'm going to run out of space on the rails. Just trying to get these untied. There we go. All right. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. All right. So now that this move is done, these are pin blocks are called Koma, and they're modular so that I can rotate them as needed. So I do what I call a Koma slide. I pull from the front, move to the back, and slide forward. There. For all 4 rails. And then when I've done that, to keep the angle of attack the same, I go ahead and roll that up. we go. I am currently working with silk. I've also used DMC cotton floss because it's fairly ubiquitous and cheap to get. But for nice stuff like these custom braids where I'm putting anywhere from like 40 to 80 hours in on making them, I'd like to use silk because it's a nicer fiber to work with. All right, so that was the end of move 71, and we're moving on to 72. So it's going to be 1 and 3 on the right and 1 and 3 on the left for several moves. So I won't keep bringing this up. I'll bring it up when the pattern changes again. So we are on move 72. And 1 and 3 and 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Sometimes these get twisted around each other, and the easiest way to untangle them is just to pull a little bit to the side and let gravity untwist them. Doesn't always work, but I'd say about 60 to 70% of the time it does. So I try and do that first before doing what I'm doing here. And there we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And as I'm passing through the top, I am always leaving one on the bottom here that I can go under. And that serves the purpose of attaching these at the edge, which is why down here you can, I don't know if you can see, let me move that a little bit. We have the negative image on the backside. Let's see, center there. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so on the left it's 1 and 3 and 1. And 3. Basically, what I'm doing with the 1 and 3 and 1 is as I bring the new ones over that are on the wrong thing, because the first two are changed, which is that runs up the center here. So I move the bottom one up to the top, and then the one that's too far past gets moved back down to the bottom, so that I have a continual 2 thread count here. So of the counter change colors. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Looks like I might need to file my nails real quick. Catching a little bit on the silk. The silk I'm using is 50 weight thread, and I'm using 12 threads per weight. The weights are called tama, and these are 100 grams each. It's a traditionally it's wood with a lead core, but these are injection molded acrylic with a steel rod as the core that's cut to a specific length, so that the weight's right. And I am moving to move 73 out of 90 in this pattern. And again, it's 1 and 3 and 1 on both sides. And I'm using a lark's head knot on the weights so that they don't unroll on their own, but they're fairly easy to unroll just by counter rotating them against the way they would normally unroll. And 1 from the top, 2 from the bottom, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the reason this is technically braiding as opposed to weaving is because in weaving, your warp and your weft never trade places, but in braiding, they do. I've also heard this particular style of braiding referred to as weaving on the bias. And I'm also trying to be very careful so that the sword blade is at this angle when I tap here to give me a nice, consistent, even on both sides angle. If I'm not careful with that, it'll start distorting a little bit. It won't look horrible. It'll just be a little bit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I also do some 3D printing on my channel as well, not so much live stuff, but recorded videos like time lapses and stuff like that. All right, moving on to move 74, which is 1, 3, and 1 again. Just show you I'm still on the blade there. It'll be this way for a while until I get to close to the tip of the blade. So it's, well, I'll just occasionally bring that up for like new people on. Okay, so it's telling me that I've got 2 live viewers. Okay, I'm learning how to read the StreamYard stuff. Oh yeah, no problem. I'm happy to share everything that I can about this that you find interesting. And if I am being too chatty, please feel free to tell me to not be quite so detail heavy, and I'll move to just braiding and chatting about other stuff. Okay, so 1 and 3 and 1 on the right. Also, the next one, the previous braid I did was for Tada. That's the background you see popping up when I'm changing screens. And the one after this one is going to be for Rob from Law and Lumber. I actually ordered the silk directly from a store in Japan. I do have it linked in the description, so if you're interested, you can do that. I use Google Translate on the website so that I can read it. But once you get into the sales portion, they've got like an international sales that's available in English. And the cones are about, that I order, about 3,000 meters of thread. They run like about $25 with the current exchange rate in the US and Japan. And with shipping, it works out to about $30 when I get 3 or 4 at a time. $30 per cone when I get 3 or 4 at a time. Let's see, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I know I've counted right when at the end I go over 3 and there's 1 left. And that's one that's left gets passed through the shed. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But yeah, I started doing the streaming with the braiding when I realized that while there were some Kumihimo, which is the name for this style of braiding, resources on YouTube, there aren't a whole lot of them, and not a lot that deal with the Taka-Dai pickup braids. So I figured if I started streaming that, I could share that and get it out there more in the open and let people know about it if they're interested. Alrighty, and 1 and 3 and 1 on both sides again. I normally stream like Tuesdays and Thursday nights. And I try and do a couple of streams on the weekend at various times because I have people who like to watch from Europe and Japan, and it's a little difficult for them to watch on my normal streaming times. So, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oops. Accidentally, one of the thread tensions is uneven, so I'm occasionally catching a loose single thread from one of the set of 12. Okay, so I've already done the bottom one, so now time for the top. There we go. And on the left, 1 and 3 and 1. No problem. Like I said, that's what I'm here for. And it also gives me kind of a regular schedule and dedicated braiding time, so I don't let stuff lapse. I had one braid that I had on the frame for about 2 years, and I really don't want to leave one on that long again. I'd like to get them made and out to people who want them. I also actually made this braiding frame as well. It's made from bloodwood, ebony, yellow heart, and walnut. I didn't make the pin blocks for this particular one, but I do make them, and I've made like 6 or 7 other of these for other people. I'm trying to do that as a side business because the just a second, moving on to move 76. Because the only other manufacturer for them in the US that I'm aware of is about a 2-year backlog, though I haven't been doing a whole lot better than that. I made 6 about 1.5 years ago, but I didn't make any last summer, or 5 1.5 years ago, but I didn't make any last summer. So 1 from the top, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that's how they normally untwist. And 1 from the bottom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I also appreciate having somebody on here to have a conversation with because it makes the time go a bit faster. And 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. There's the 1. There's the 3. And here's the shed 1 reversal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I am getting better over time doing the hand weaving through to open up the shed. It's a matter of getting the timing for the up and down and the forward motion, where I can do that rather than picking them one fingertip at a time. Lets me run them a little bit faster. Yep, that's also that's also Kumihimo as well. There's also the round disc that's not foam. Let's see, I'm moving to move 77. I have one of those here. I 3D printed this one. And this is a Maradai with a 12-inch diameter disc and 32 strand braid. Yep, that's the main reason I was kind of wondering as well when I was getting into it how this version was still braiding and not some sort of weaving. And it was pointed out to me. I don't remember who told me that, but it was like 15 years ago. I've been doing this for about almost 25 years. Okay, so 1 and 3 and 1 on the right. I'm somewhat of a woodworker. I'm more of a CNC machinist. Um, this particular Mardai was actually partially made on a Bridgeport mill at my previous job. I currently have a CNC router table type that I use for making most of the parts. I've recently gotten a planer so that mechanical planer so that I can make the right size sticks myself, and then use the router to cut in the appropriate slots and put threaded inserts so that it can be screwed together and broken down for transport, make it easier to travel with one. You know, put it away in storage where it takes up only a small amount of space, and then bring it out when you want to do the braiding. I also do some metalworking, and like I said, I'm doing 3D printing now. I also do some plastic machining on my router as well. The router I have is a home-built Open Builds design for their LEAD, L-E-A-D model, with a few variations. And 1 is reversed, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This one's got a little bit of an issue. There we go. I used, when I was warping these up, I used a bit of super glue on the loop on either side of where I was going to cut, so the ends wouldn't fly off and lose tension everywhere. But sometimes a little bit of the super glue bit is hard, and it catches on it as it tries to as I try and unwind it. Okay, so on to move 78. There we go. And 1 and 3 and 1 on the right. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The counting is useful for letting me know when to stop doing the weave through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. If I overshoot one, it's not a big deal. I can back up to where I'm supposed to be, but it takes me a little bit more time. And 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. 1. And 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That one wasn't dropped quite enough. But yeah, I'm actually right about the halfway point on this braid. Ian wants it about 5 feet or 60 inches long, and I was at 28 inches when I started the stream. And if I run my usual 1.5 to 2 hours, I'll probably have 30 inches then, or maybe a little bit more. And on to move 79. And 1 and 3 and 1 on both sides again. 1 is reversed, so 1 from the top, then from the bottom 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The program I'm using for the instructions on what moves to make is very nice and easy to use. You can draw out your pattern in the program, and it automatically figures out what moves you need to do to make the pattern happen. Previously to that, there were books that had basically an alphabet of moves. So you'd sketch out what you wanted, and then you had to use like a straight edge to see what exactly your pattern is for that particular line, and then refer to the chart as to what moves you would need to do, and then you'd mark those down on like a piece of paper. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's see. Is that telling me I have an issue? Okay. It says my connection is unstable. I'll have to see about somehow getting some type of Ethernet connection going up here if I use StreamYard. As far as doing this beat tension, I've been improving over time. I've recently figured out that I need to use this as my guide as opposed to just trying to do it by hand and feel. On some of the other braids I did, it wasn't quite as big of an issue, but with the swords here, I definitely want to keep it nice and even and straight in the center. I don't want it waving back and forth as it's going along. Okay, and we are on to move 80. And 1 and 3 and 1 for both sides again. As far as the main tensioning mechanism on here, it's the weights holding against the take-up rail, which is nice because you don't have to keep pulling most of the time. It'll automatically deliver the right amount of weight in the right spot. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And just so you're aware, since we started the stream, I've done this much braid. And 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. So I've been live for about half an hour and done almost an inch, so I'm doing pretty good speed-wise. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That one's a little bit tangled for the let gravity take its course method. Needed a little bit of assistance. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, meaning to your comment about using graph paper. Yeah, the software makes it really easy, which is another one of the reasons I like doing these braiding streams is because it doesn't take a ton of prep work to do the design anymore. I was actually kind of intimidated on that, having to do that. Actually, let me do the coma slide real quick. And I can show you what it looks like. Admittedly, I did it with another program that was not quite as easy to use, but it's perfectly serviceable. Give me a second here. The braid I did before Nikricatas, I went ahead and printed out on this. And you can see like the where the exchanges go, and these, I don't remember exactly what these instructions are because there's like 4 different tablature methods for recording moves. I found one that's just numbers as opposed to numbers and letters, easier for me to do. But what you would have to do is, there we go. From the center line, you'd have to like have a straight edge. And then it would be like, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 space, or this is actually 1 and a 2, 2, 12, not a 1, 1. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. So you'd mark that down. Then you'd have 2 that didn't have the change, 2 more that did, 3 that didn't. And then you'd check against the alphabet till you found one that matched. And then you'd go up to that line, and then you'd mark what you needed to do with that. Hey, Kathleen, nice to see you on. I can do new things. Here, watch this. Just rolling that up. All right, so I did not change the move, I don't believe. All right, so moving on to 81. And it's still 1 and 3 and 1. As you can see, 1 and 3 and 1 on the left, and 1 and 3 and 1 on the right. So Thomas and Shed. Kathleen has been in Kumihimo and other fiber arts for a while. We've met each other online through the historical group, the Society for Creative Anachronism. Haven't met in person, but she has gotten some tama for me when I was selling them. T-Rox is a fan of Ian Runkle, the guy I'm doing the braid for. And he's been kind enough that he's been retweeting when I've been doing announcements for what I'm going to braid. And I might actually be able to get him on a stream in about a week or so when the Gwyneth Paltrow trial is done. So I'm looking forward to that possibility. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. StreamYard apparently is lagging a little bit because I don't have the greatest of connections since I'm on Wi-Fi. So there's probably at least a 40 to 50 second lag behind what I'm saying before you guys hear it. And 1 and 3 and 1. So I may be a little slow replying to super chats because they come in fairly instantly. So when you chat with me, you're actually talking like almost a minute to the future. There we go. Unfortunately for the pickup braids, because you do so much exchanging between the upper and lower levels, you can't keep the tom as high up to the rail as you would on other braid patterns. So they tend to wrap around each other more often than normal for other traditional as opposed to pickup braid patterns. Okay. Hopefully the crocheting is going well. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And okay, on to move 82. We're getting close to the end. We've got 8 more moves after this, so pretty soon I should see the end of the sword blade coming up. And 1 and 3 and 1 on both sides. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on the left, 1 and 3 and 1 again. Oh, no problem, T-Rox. I'm happy to share the time I have. And shed 1 is reversed, so 1 from the top, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 from the bottom. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on to move 83. 1 and 3 and 1. And shed 1 is reversed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1 and 3 on the left. Drop that Tama down a bit more. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm really hoping so. I really like Ian's work online. I have an appreciation for his work as a lawyer. I have several lawyer friends, so he just seems like a really nice guy, and I'm really happy to do the braids for him. That's kind of my selection criteria, is I do the braids for the YouTubers that I like and respect. Okay, so we are ready for move 84, and I can see the tip of the sword, so let me show that to you. All right, so right here at the very, oops, helps if I put the mouse on the right screen. So here's the tip of the sword. It's going to extend like one more here, and you can see how the numbers are starting to change there, and not quite there on that side yet, but alrighty. So 1 and 3 and 1 on the right. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on the left, 1 and 3 and 1. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now that I've got StreamYard, I'm going to have to see if I can start dual streaming on Rumble as well. I've got a Rumble account as well, but I need to load it up with all the videos I've done here on YouTube. I'm going to catch up. I missed some of the chat here. Alrighty. Okay, I'm caught up on chat. Don't think I've missed anything currently. All right, so I did all the moves. Time to go on to the next one. On to move 85. And there is the end of the sword blade right there. And you can see it's ending on there. And I'm starting to change on there as well. So we'll do those, bring those up when we get close to that point. And 1 and 3 and 1 on the right. One and 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I think I'm going to have a warping frame made up before I do Rob of Lawn Lumber's braid, so that I can do the setup much faster than the 10 to 20 hours it takes me to do currently. The design I'm thinking of is fairly simple, based off of others I've seen. The fun part is just going to be having to roll off the thread from the cone onto like 12 different spools, because I don't quite have the finances to order 24 cones of thread at roughly $30 a pop right now. All right, so on to move 86. However, if I did that, I'd have enough thread to do like 30 or so. Well, not 30, but probably about 15 braids or so. And the retail on these tend to run about between $2,000 and $4,000, depending on how large I do it. Alrighty. Whoops. I skipped a move. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Like I mentioned, I think earlier today, it really helps for avoiding problems with the braid if you're really familiar with the pattern and know what looks right and what doesn't look right. There we go, 1 and 3 and 1 now. And I'm pretty sure I won't have much of an issue doing it. It's a matter of whether or not I can get it streaming turned on Rumble for the amount of subscribers I have over there, which I think is like 5 or 6. If they've got a minimum or not, I haven't looked into that. And when Nick Rekieta started streaming on Rumble, he went over a lot of the issues he was having. So I'm aware of some of the things and pitfalls to avoid. But yeah, Ian has been very helpful in chat or direct messages or whatever. So I'm also on his and Nick Rekieta's locals, so there's other resources there for me as well. 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. That's also another reason I decided I'd start streaming. Is Nick Rekieta mentioned that the hardest thing doing as a streamer is getting your first 100 subscriptions or 100 subscribers. And when he mentioned that, the account here I've had since like 2006 or so, actually had about 160, I think 160 or 180 subscribers at that point. And it's like, wow, if I've already done that and I hadn't realized I had, or that it was a goal that I could definitely put in the work to go from there, since the hard part was done. So in the 8 months or so since I've been trying to stream regularly, I've gone from that to almost 600 subscribers now. So this particular style of braiding, I'm limited to 2 colors, because basically what it is I have 2 parallel braids, each their own color, and I get the design by swapping from the upper to the lower braid, which is why I so the way this works is I get 2 braids of 2 different colors that are essentially the negative and the mirror image of each other. But yeah, you can see on this side here that it's a nice straight line. It's a nice crisp image. I'm very happy with how the braid's turning out. The fun part of rolling this up is I've got 76 tama at 100 grams each, so that means I've got about 20 pounds of weight on these threads, all told. And the braid I did for Nick Ricada had 100, so that was about 22 pounds. And I just realized I don't know where I put the... There we go. Alrighty, so I think I just did 86. I hate it when I lose my place. Okay. I don't suppose either of you remember if I said I had just gone to 86 or I'd finished 86. I think I just moved to it and I hadn't actually. Nope. I had just moved to it. So it's time for 86. Okay. So 1 and 3 and 1 as usual. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. It says we got 3 people watching now, so whoever the new person is, feel free to speak up, ask any questions you want, or just watch and enjoy. Choice is yours. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on to move 87, because I know I've definitely done 86 now. All right, so still no change on the move for this particular one. I'm still 1 and 3 and 1 on the right, and 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. But the next move is where it's going to start changing. Hey, Multimeter Wifey, welcome on. It's good to see you back on again. All right, so move 87. Yeah, I'm trying StreamYard tonight so that I can have guests on in the future, or maybe go onto other people's streams. And all right, so we are on move 87. It's 1 and 3 and 1 on both sides. I'm getting to the point where it'd be really helpful for my channel growth if I started having people visit or going to other streamers' streams and being on there as a guest. But that's pretty much up to them. I'm not going to be one of those annoying, pushy people who always says, pick me, I need help. I did way too much of that as a teenager. But since then, I've pretty much operated on the principle that I will try and be the type of person that I can respect and I would like to know myself. And if other people agree with me, great. If they don't, that's fine too. Alrighty, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Welcome back, T-Rocks. We've got a new person on here, Multi-Mirror Wifey. Oh, not new. She's been on here before. This is T-Rock's first time on the stream. Alrighty. So we are on to move 88. And pause just a second here. Okay, sorry about that. My wife was leaving for work and I had to say goodbye to her. Okay, so move to 88. All right, so on this one, 1 and 3 and 1 on the right still, but on the left, we don't do 1, we just exchange 3, and shed is not reversed. And it's also time to do a coma slide. There we go. And so 1 and 3 and 1 on the right. Thank you. I'm sorry. Muddy Mirror Wifery, not Multi-Mirror. I apologize for that. I've got progressive bifocals, which are basically not really bifocals. It's progressive reading glasses. So if I don't have my head tilted just right, some of the letters blur together. I apologize for that. Okay, and shed 1 is reversed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let gravity untangle for me. And on the left, we are not exchanging 1, we're only exchanging 3. And no shed reversals. So this will all be on the bottom for the first half of the move and all on the top for the second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we are moving on to 89. There we go. So on the right, we're just doing 3 is exchanged and shed 1 is reversed. On the left, 3 is exchanged, no shed reversal. So 1, 2, and 3. And still have shed 1 reverse. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So on the left, just 3 is exchanged. So it's now all white on the top and all blue on the bottom. It's a very racist braid. Okay, so no shed reversal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alrighty, that one, a couple of threads jumped one of the pins. Let's get it all even up again. And as you can see, the tip of the sword is forming. And we'll move on to move 89, which is the last move on this iteration of the pattern. So we just exchanged 3 on the right, no shed reversal, and nothing and nothing on the left. Okay. Oops. So 3 reverse, not 1, or 3 exchange, not 1. Alrighty, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Come on, you can untangle. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Another thing that helped me being willing to stream was the fact that I realized when I was much younger that when you hear your recorded voice, it's going to sound wrong no matter what you do. There's no way to fix it, and it'll just sound wrong to you pretty much anytime you hear it, relative to what you're expecting other people's voices to sound like. So, alrighty. That was move 90. So if we do one more, it takes us back to 1. We're back at the start of the braid pattern. So there's the start of the next sword. So nothing on left or right for move 1 other than the standard 1-1 twill pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. Whoops, I completely forgot to switch back. I hope you were able to see in the corner there. All right, so on to 2. So again, still nothing out of the ordinary on these moves. It's just the standard 1-1 twill. And there we go. Yep, mastoid conduction is a weird thing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And same for the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. One thing I learned on my last braid is you can't go too long without having a top and bottom color exchange, because if you do, you wind up with a round tube instead of a flat braid, because it's only connected along the edges and it opens up in the middle. So if I wind up having a design that calls for a large amount of empty space, I'll probably plan to have like a little bit of diapering effect every so often, just so that it stays relatively flat when it's being worn or whatever. Okay, and we're moving on to move 3. Nothing other than base moves on the right. On the left, we exchange Tama's 1 and shed 1 is reversed. Alrighty. There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on the left, we're exchanging Tama's 1. And shed 1 is reversed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And moving on to move 4. On the right, we do Tama's 1 exchange, no shed reversal. On the left, 1 exchange, and shed 1 is reversed. So 1 on the right. And no shed reversal yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And Thomas Warner exchanged on the left. That one needs to be rolled down a bit. It's not long enough. And there's 1. And shed 1 is reversed. So 1 from the top, and from the bottom 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And there we go. And yeah, I'm saying "and" a lot. Sorry about that. Eventually I'll get a pretty good online voice going. So we're moving to move 5. So we exchange 1 on the right, and shed 1 is reversed. On the left, 1 and 3 and 1. And as you can see, the sword point is forming there. And you can see it right there starting to form. So exchanging 1 on the right. And shed 1 is reversed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And on the left, 1 and 3 and 1, we are back to that again. There's 1. And 3. And shed 1 is reversed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And pattern up. Moving on to move 6. So 1 and 3 and 1 on the right, and 1 and 3 and 1 on the left here. So since it's going to be like this for a while, probably well past the end of this stream, I won't bring this up again unless there's a point that needs to be discussed about it. Oh, sorry. I know I'm late on this, but sorry, Madamir Wifrey. I hope you feel better. I am also a migraine sufferer, and you have my sincerest sympathies. Okay, and 1 and 3 on the and 1 on the right. And shed 1 is reversed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1 and 3 and 1 on the left. There's 1. And 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And time for a coma slide. And I am very sorry, but I'm probably going to have to stop the stream here. My eyes have suddenly started burning, which happens to me occasionally from eye strain. That makes it really hard for me to be able to focus on things. So now is probably a good time to end for the night. Going to start on move 7 next time. And it will probably, I'll do my usual stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Thursday night. And I will probably have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometime in there. I'll have 1 to 3 streams, most likely. So, alrighty. Does anybody need anything before I end the stream and head out? Yep. Thank you very much. You take care of yourself as well. I'm going to relax my eyes and then call it a night. I usually have to be up around 4:30 to 5 to get to work in the morning. I work at a machine shop as a CNC programmer and machine operator. And you guys have a good one. And I am going to see if I can end this stream in StreamYard. Oh, before I do that, let me move that. And okay. Let's end broadcast. And end.